Hello, Renee Flamond here. So, right now, somewhere in the world, somewhere in our circle, there are people that are crying hysterically, just found out something, and this is the part, it's a very dangerous point right now, because we will cry and plead and bargain and promise and compromise our belief system to give it one last shot. It happens more often than you think, right after or during or right in the middle of the devaluing phase. It breaks my heart to think that right now, the person that I know, I mentioned a few videos back, I know somebody that just had the rug pulled. It breaks my heart right now to know or to think that she's thinking she can give more, do more to fix her person, to fix herself, as if she did something wrong or didn't do something right or enough. We all go through these feelings. And it is very often in this stage where we will bargain, beg, try to demonstrate we are all that they'll ever need or ever want. We can fix this problem. We can heal him. Make him see he wants to stay. And make him see that he doesn't want to behave that way anymore. Yes, I thought that. I thought, I'll let him know he doesn't need anything else but me. Like, what is this all about? He doesn't want to behave that way. He just doesn't realize it. I'll teach him. Let me tell him. Let me show him. We're desperate. We'll say anything. We'll do anything. Sound familiar? Yeah. And by the way, they love this part. It is the same desperation that they exhibit when they're hoovering that we're going to show right now in trying to keep them. So if none of this works, or it works for a little while and then there's a discard and then they come back and hoover, now they're going to have that same desperation even though they messed it up again, because they want to make sure you know that they can still get you back. But I don't want to get onto that. We're so desperate rather than just accepting the truth that was put before us and move on. That would be a very easy solution to the whole thing, wouldn't it? And there are some of you in here, I speak to you, that's your story. Read the comments, you'll see everyone's very, very, very generous in sharing their journeys. And there's more than one of it. They said, no, I won't go back. I will not answer the Hoover. I won't do it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I love that. I love that. I love that. And we should all be able to do that. See the truth for what it is and move on. It's not going to get better. You didn't do anything or not do something. They're not fixable. We tend to want to curb the ugly truth before us into being something else, but not actually what it is. The deplorableness of it is too much for us to think about. We tend to want to see it in a different light, even if it means thinking or believing that they were at fault in some way. They'll tell you, well, you did this or you did that. But sometimes believing that and letting them make us think we were at fault in some way, even if it means believing we were at fault in some way, it's somehow easier than believing the actual truth is he just went out on you and he just betrayed you. That's the truth of it. Not it's our fault, my fault, because I didn't do this or that. But that's the truth we'll believe. Because Because it's easier for our heart to believe that. There's got to be a reason this happened. I've got to be able to fix this. This can't be the permanent way this is going to be, that I'm never going to be with this person again. The rug was just pulled. You're still thinking this is Prince Charming. You're in love. They want to get us on the page that they want us to be on. So with that, well, you did this or you didn't do that. Now they get to watch you ramble and work yourself back up to that love bombing stage where they made you feel spectacular. They've given you a couple of notes. Well, if you did this and if you didn't do that, and now you're going to kill yourself. You're going to knock yourself out. Doing anything he told you and more. And guess what? It's never coming. The love bombing phase is never coming again. They may feign it again during this time to throw you enough to keep you scrambling. But they know it's over. But if they pepper it with little points of love bombing, then you'll continue on the path of trying to satisfy them. Won't you? But you got to give like a little bit to us. Here's a little treat. And then they're back to devaluing you. Here's a little love bombing. Then they're back to devaluing. And the whole time they're watching you kill yourself. That feeds them. That feeds their everything. To watch how hard you're killing yourself. The mask dropped. They know it. Regardless of what you do, they know that they've dropped a peg in your eyes, and that is what they cannot handle. Even if you try to convince them they haven't dropped a peg in your eyes. They have. You know it. They know it. They know you know it. You're trying, though. And this, to me, is the real heartbreaking part, too. I mean, I feel that when we're killing ourselves in this way, it's just so warped. I did it. Of course I did. And what's heartbreaking to me is from an outside perspective, it's so clear to me that the girl that I have in my mind that I know shouldn't be doing that. I could save her a lot of that time, but you can't. You might say, well, why don't you just tell? You can't tell anybody. You know that. I wish I could say that I hope they work it out. That he sees her for her value. That he decides to treat her right. I wish I could say that he offers some explanation with which she can live, she can forgive, they can start anew, but we know it's impossible for these people. It's their disorder. It has nothing to do with us. He'll go through the same thing with the next person. He went through the same thing with the last person. It's not her. It's not us. It never is. It's them. I'm watching her go through this with her narcissist. And it's a shame because she knows the truth. So that's why I say I can't say anything. She knows the truth. She's choosing to ignore it or see it another way or listen to his explanation or take on the reasons it happened this way for herself and she's going to kill herself fixing it. How long it drags out is up to her, up to you, up to all of us. But it will, in effect, drag. And it's painful to watch, especially knowing how she feels. You know, we know it. It's so unfortunate that no one can tell us either, because we already know, but they don't. They know, but they're in denial. And we know what the rest of it looks like. and how it will pan out. And, people might say, well, how do you know? He might react different. No, it is a cookie cutter disorder. That's what all the research shows. They all have, their cycle might manifest itself in different ways, but it is a cookie cutter thing. That's why I always say, if you know yours is a narcissist, there's more devalue coming. She'll want to start anew. It's impossible. He'll behave wicked good right now for as long as he can, but my phone will ring eventually, and something will blow up. That's not the end of that story. And we go ahead and we give them another chance, and it's truly neck-snappingly alarming to me when viewing it, like I said, from an outside perspective, how we allow them to weasel their way back in. And I did it. I even remember there were a handful of times towards, as it gets towards the end, a handful of times, shows you how many back and forths there were. I remember thinking, I can't tell anyone. I could never tell anybody I'm seeing this person. And it would blow up before I ever had to worry about that. But, when you are in a situation where you're trying to knock yourself out and give it that last shot, I just want you to keep in mind that the devalue was going to happen anyway. And regardless of what you do during this time, it's not going to prevent the rest of the cycle from unfolding as it needs to. So, for example, in the person that I know situation, we know that the narcissist is going to be on their best behavior right when the rug's pulled out if he's not ready to be without you or move on without, you as supply. He's going to maintain, he's going to behave, he's going to give you his phone, he's going to do all those things, right? We all know. At some point, there's going to be a moment, because now this girl knows the truth now. How do you think she's going to be in life with the narcissist? Parameters, boundaries, fighting, emotional turmoil, working through it with her. They're not built for that. He'll do it for a little while, but right now, I guarantee you, I don't need to know her narcissist to know that her narcissist right now is seeking new supply. Think about the cycle, right? So they're going through this tremendously painful devalue. He knows he's dropped down a peg. They need to feel like this. He's not going to get that from her. He's getting supply out of watching her scramble. They love that. That's another ego feeding. But they need somebody to worship them. So that's just math. Of course he's out there trying to find new supply. Maybe he's going through his Rolodex calling old supply. He's not everywhere he says he's going to these days. Maybe he hit a bar here or a restaurant here or talked at the bar a few people, laying some pipeline for down the road where he knows this will eventually blow up. Meanwhile, she's killing herself to make it work out. That's the saddest part to me. That is really the heartbreaking part. Is they're nowhere on the same page. He'll say, it was you and you did this or didn't do that to try to get you on the page that he wants you on or that he's pretending to be on, which is, well, if this or this, then maybe I wouldn't have done that. And so now you're scrambling to answer to what he maybe laid out on the table. This isn't a healthy relationship where one of you faltered and you get together and you healthfully discuss, well, I think that we were lacking in this and this area. We could go forward. That's why I did that. That's a healthy conversation that couples painfully have sometimes with each other when one or the other steps out. This is a narcissist. They're throwing things at you just to see what sticks. So now you're going to kill yourself. Meanwhile, he's out there hitting the pavement. It breaks my heart. And the only thing we can do is be there for people that we know. You can try to the nth degree. But there is a line, where it's not that I won't push a line. We're very honest, me and my friends, with each other and whatever. But she knows the truth. What am I going to do? Yell at her the truth? She knows it. She knows it. We acknowledged it. She knows the truth. So she's making a choice to, like I said, if you either ignore that truth, pretend it's something it isn't, pretend it won't happen again, pretend there's an explanation for that truth, pretend that, you know what I'm saying? That she can forgive it and forget it and move on, and he means that much. I'm gonna end up with him, though. Okay, we went through these trials and tribulations, but I'm gonna be the one to end up with him. I'm gonna stick it out. She didn't say those words, but you know what I mean? That's the position that the person is in right now. Many of you are in that position. When we are giving everything as our one last shot, it's a dangerous position, and I want you to keep an eye on that, because you will bargain things away that you value. A boundary, maybe. They're not done breaking down boundaries. They could break them down right now. And you could bargain away things and bargain with things that you never thought you would do or say, or, you know what I mean? It's just whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, but whatever it is. So I ask you to keep an eye on that. Because if somebody's devaluing you, see, I can't say it if you're in it, but they're not earning the right to get another chance if they've already behaved in a fashion that devalued you in some way, which is triangulation, cheating, gaslighting. We know what that is, lying, all of that. So I just think you should really keep an eye on that. And I don't think that any of us should break our backs like that and try to give it one last shot during devalue. And I would love to see a time that we all had our head around the concept of the devalue is the beginning of the end. And it is coming anyway, regardless of what you do. It's coming anyway. I just thought I'd mention it.